Welcome everyone for South Huron Council meeting tonight, and welcome those that are in the gallery with us tonight and our staff and members of council. And I'll ask everyone if they could please rise for O Canada. Thank you, everyone. You can be seated, and I'll ask members of council and members of the public if they could please have their cell phones on mute, please. And we'll go to item number 2. Ms. Carlson, please. Oh, sorry. Our land acknowledgement. Sorry about that. As we gather, we are reminded that the municipality of South Huron is situated on Treaty 29 land that is steeped in rich Indigenous history and home to First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people today. As a community, we have a responsibility to honor and respect this territory's significance for the Indigenous peoples who lived and continue to live upon it, and whose practices and spiritualities were tied to the land and continue to develop in relationship to the territory and its other inhabitants today. In the spirit of reconciliation and truth, we acknowledge the Anishinaabe and the Haudenosaunee peoples on whose traditional territory we are meeting. Thank you. And we'll move to item number 2 at this point. Thank you.
That South Huron Council approves the agenda as presented.
Moved by Deputy Mayor, seconded by Councillor Neeb. Any discussion? All the question, all in favor? And that carries with 7. Disclosure of pecuniary interest in the general nature thereof. Are there any disclosures at this time? Okay, thank you. Presentations, delegations, public meetings, none tonight. We're going to 7.1 for minutes. Ms. Carlson.
That South Huron Council adopts the minutes of the regular council meeting of April 3rd, 2023 as printed and circulated.
And mover, please. Moved by Councillor Oak, seconded by Councillor Vaughn. Any discussion? Call the question, all in favor? And that carries with 7. 7.2.
That South Huron Council adopts the minutes of the council workshop meeting of April 11th, 2023 as printed and circulated.
And a mover, please. Councillor Neeb and seconded by Councillor Milk Dietrich. Any discussion? Call the question, all in favor? And that carries a 7. 8.1 and onward, Ms. Carlson.
That the minutes, reports, agendas, or approved budget of the following committees and or boards be received as presented to council. Sable Bayfield Conservation Authority, agenda package of April 13th, 2023 meeting. Upper Thames River Conservation Authority Board 2023 approved budget, watershed report cards, and newsletter.
Please. By Councillor Neeb, second by Councillor Oak. Any discussion? Call the question, all in favor? And that carries a 7. Thank you. Ms. Carlson.
That the South Huron Council receives the Police Services Board minutes of March 14th, 2023. And that council accept the recommendation of the Police Services Board that the municipality of South Huron accept the responsibility of effectively moving the community safety and well-being plan forward with support from the Police Services Board, and that council support the Police Services Board Resolution 140323 surrounding bail reform as adopted by the OAPSB Zone 5 at the regular meeting of March 7th, 2023.
And is there a mover, please? Moved by Deputy Mayor, seconded by Councillor Neeb. Any discussion? Councillor Neeb and then Councillor Oak.
Sorry, thank you through the chair. Just a question about the community safety and well-being plan being moved over to the municipality. Will that mean that that then becomes a committee of council, or how is that? I'm trying to figure out what's going to be different.
Mr. Carlson.
What we're doing for now is having a community relations manager. She's taking lead on the community safety and well-being plan, but also will be reporting or connecting with the police services board on initiatives.
Nope. Thank you. Sounds great.
Councillor Oak, go ahead, please.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm just wondering whether these items should be broken out as separate resolutions. Just to have clarity on each one.
Very well. Ms. Masood Carlson, I turn to you.
Yes, so I just put it here. Councillor Oak called for a split of the resolution. I'll just read the first resolution. That the South Huron Council receives the Police Services Board minutes of March 14th, 2023, and that council accept the recommendation of the Police Services Board that the municipality of South Huron accept the responsibility of effectively moving the community safety and well-being plan forward with support from the Police Services Board. And that's moved by Deputy Mayor Dietrich and seconded by Councillor Neeb.
Correct. Okay. Any further discussion on that motion? Okay. Call the question. All in favor? And that motion carries. Thank you. Ms. Masood Carlson.
The second motion is that council support the Police Services Board Resolution 140323 surrounding bail reform as adopted by the OAPSB Zone 5 at the regular meeting of March 7th, 2023, moved by Deputy Mayor Dietrich and seconded by Councillor Neeb.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion on that motion? Councillor Oak, go ahead, please.
Thank you, Mayor. I guess I didn't turn my mic off. Just wondering, is there any direction of who we are going to send this to?
Deputy, do you want to speak to that?
I think there was some direction. I read it somewhere. Excuse me. It was through the OAPSB. So if we could get it off there. And it's also on this resolution here. Oh, it's not on the resolution. Sorry. We may have to look that up and bring it back.
Councillor Oak, go ahead.
Just based on what the draft motion that was by the Waterloo Regional Police Services, but it didn't say who it was being sent to. So, or who they had sent it to.
Ms. Masood Carlson, do you have a comment?
Calls on the provincial and federal governments, but it doesn't say who they were sending it to. I think it should be directed to somebody.
Yeah, and Ms. Masood Carlson has a comment.
Okay. Marco Mendocino, Minister of Public Safety. Pam Damoff, Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Public Safety. David Lametti, Minister of Justice and Attorney General of Canada. And Gary Gary, apologies for that, Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Justice and Attorney General of Canada. Those are provincial. And then, or no, those were federal. Provincial was Michael Kersner, Solicitor General. Christine Hogarth, Parliamentary Assistant. Bob Bailey, Parliamentary Assistant. Doug Downey, Attorney General. Brian Saunderson, Parliamentary Assistant to Attorney General. That was a listing provided by the Police Services Board.
Follow up, Councillor Oak at all? No. Thank you. Any other comments? Councillor Vaughn, go ahead, please.
Yes, thank you. The very last paragraph indicates that by virtue of this resolution, we're integrating or wishing to have these new proposed legislative changes integrated into the law. And so my question is, are all of these whereas proposals new, or are there just some new ones?
Ms. Masood Carlson, the comment?
I do not have that information,
Okay.
whether they're all new or whether there are just some new ones. That background was not provided.
Follow up.
Yeah, so I'm just wondering what we're putting forward. I can say that there really isn't anything in here that I disapprove of, but it is kind of giving me the sense that we're looking for stronger bail, punitive responses to people who probably shouldn't have firearms in the first place. Yeah, so in reading it all, I thought, okay, is that new? Oh, because if it is new, that's kind of shocking. But yeah, so we don't have that in place now. People are able to have violent crimes and still have firearms in their possession. I'm lost what we're doing here.
So if I maybe be able to offer some information there. So the bail review has been, or bail, there's been bail briefs been done on people for years, and bail reform has been proposed for a number of years too. They talk about reverse onus and show cause. Reverse onus has existed for a number of years as a show cause. So a show cause is if the Crown wishes to hold somebody in custody on a serious charge, then they have to show cause why they're doing that. What's the reason to keep this person in custody? Reverse onus is if a person's already released on very dangerous offenses, they have the onus is now reversed, so it's on that person to prove why they should be released. Hope that helps. But a lot of this stuff that's in here right now is actually in the criminal code now.
Well, I thought it might be. So I just wondered what was meant by these new proposed legislative changes, which is in the very last sentence of the whole document. So I'm trying to figure out what's new. What are we supporting?
I think it's just more or less just, like it says, broadening the application on the reverse onus protocol, make it more onerous on them, the accused person, to show cause why they should be released.
Okay, so you think that's what's new, is that to put the more onus on the person charged?
That's
about-
basically how I read it, yes.
Okay. Okay,
Hope that helps.
yeah,
Deputy, you have a comment?
Just what I gathered from the meetings that we've had. It's the issues of being arrested and 2 hours later you're out on bail.
yeah, I know.
And some of them are serious problems that they're being arrested for, and they're still getting out on bail and they're reoffending again within the same day. So I think that's what they're trying to do here, is get a little more teeth into that, those serious crimes. And that's the way it was explained to us at the OAPSB meeting.
Okay,
So that's what this was about.
okay.
That's as good as I can explain it. So thank you.
Yeah, and that's probably a fair way of describing it, just putting more teeth into it and showing all the local municipalities are in favor of this type of increased responsibility on the accused. It's a reverse onus protocols. And it's very clear in the final paragraph there that that's exactly what they're trying to do, is create more onus and more responsibility on the accused, and basically widening the that sector for this, just to protect the public, really what it comes down to.
Okay, well, that makes sense to me, because I would agree. I've been seeing that it's a little bit more lax these days in terms of people being able to get out when they maybe shouldn't be. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
I think Deputy, go ahead.
And some of this stuff is hard to explain when you're not really involved in the policing part of it or the courts part of it. So that's kind of why I want to be very careful what I say, and I don't want to get something out there that's not true. So I'd rather not, unless I understand it, I don't want to speak to it. So thank you.
Yeah, it's a very complicated system when it comes to release, and I've worked in that for a number of years, and you wonder why some people do get released, but just the way the system is set up. So they're just trying to put more emphasis and more enforcement on that to prevent people from being released, and holding them more accountable is really what it comes down to. That's the way I read it too. More teeth in it, as Deputy said. Okay, so we have a mover and a seconder, I believe. Is there any further questions? If no further questions, I'll call the question. All in favor? And that carries a 7. Thank you. 9.1, Mr. Carlson.
The South Huron Council receives a report from Mike Rolfe, Director of Building and Planning Services, Chief Building Official, regarding Q1 Building Activity Report.
And is there a mover for that, please? Moved by Counselor Neeb, seconded by Counselor Oak. Any discussion? Call the question, all in favor? And that carries with 7. Thank you. 9.1.2.
The South Huron Council receives a report of Vanessa Colbert, Planning Coordinator, First Quarter Planning Summary Report for information purposes.
Mover, please. Counselor Denemy, seconded by Counselor Dietrich. Any discussion? Call the question, all in favor, and that carries with 7. Thank you. 9.2.1.
The council receives a report of Jeremy Becker, General Manager of Community and Emergency Services, regarding the Q1 Fire Department responses for information.
And is there a mover for that, please? Counselor Denemy, seconded by Counselor Oak. Any discussion? Counselor Deputy Mayor, go ahead, please.
Sorry, I should have asked this question sooner, but under structure fires, I see there was 3 in Dashwood and 3 by the Exeter Fire Department. Is that the same? Because we have 2 departments called out to a fire. Is that the same fire? Is that 3 separate fires? Is that 6 in total?
Chief, you want to take that?
Thank you. Through the chair, that is 3 of the same call because 2 station response for structure fires.
Okay, thank you. Follow up at all? Okay, thank you. Counselor Neeb, go ahead.
Thank you through the chair. And Jeremy, I'm not sure if it would be in this report, but is there any way that we would be able to find out the times that the departments are on call for other municipalities as well in your report?
Chief?
Thank you. Through the chair. So there is 1 call listed in mutual aid from the Dashwood station, and that mutual aid call was into the municipality of Bluewater. But if you're looking for the amount of time, I can break that down for you in the future. If that's
Thank you. That would,
would.
yeah, that would be great. Just in terms of, I think that's something that we need to understand too, is that sometimes you guys are on call for other municipalities, and that can be a draw on our resources as well. But I think it's important that it may be included in that report. Thank you.
For sure, I can expand on that going forward.
Thanks, Chief. And Counselor Oak, you had something.
Yeah, just to follow up on that, perfect example, I believe, just recently, there was a multi-station call in ACW and South Huron was backing up some of the other stations. Jeremy, maybe you could just comment on that.
Yeah, that's right. The call in ACW the last week involved 10 stations, and it did involve some movement of other Huron County stations for coverage. And South Huron didn't have to do any movement or upstaffing, but we were prepared to assist if we were required, as the Huron County Mutual Aid Plan was activated for that incident.
Great, thank you. Counselor Neeb, anyone else have anything else? And yeah, thank you very much, Chief, and thank to all your staff that provide that service for us around the clock. We realize they're volunteers, and we really appreciate everything they do. And having a call like that up in ACW impacts us here in South Huron. So it's very much appreciated to know that our staff are ready to respond at a moment's notice to help another municipality if need be. So thank you for all that. Any other questions or comments for the Chief? There's no further comments. We have a mover and a seconder. I'll call the question. All in favor? And that carries with 7. Thank you. And then 9.2.2. Chief.
The South Huron Council receives a report of Jeremy Becker, General Manager of Community and Emergency Services, regarding the building condition assessment. And that South Huron Council accepts the proposal from IRC Building Sciences Group for the delivery of a building condition assessment report in the amount of $49,500 plus HST.
And is there a mover for that? Moved by Counselor Oak, seconded by Counselor Vaughn. Any discussion? Deputy, go ahead.
That includes all our buildings, Jeremy?
Go ahead, Chief.
Through the chair, no, that does not. Transportation and water wastewater already has a building condition assessment done. So it's the remainder of the buildings, community services, town hall, the arenas, everything at the cemetery, our fire halls. But like I said, transportation, water, wastewater already was completed.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? We have a mover and a seconder. If there's no further discussion, I'll call the question. All in favor? And that carries with 7. Thank you. 9.3 and 9.4.1.
That South Huron Council receives the report of Justin Finkbeiner, Talent and Workforce Manager, regarding South Huron Police Services Board Community Member Appointment, and that South Huron Council approve the appointment of Laura Connolly Golding as community member to the South Huron Police Services Board.
Is there a mover for that, please? Moved by Deputy Mayor, second by Councillor Neeb. Any discussion? Call the question. All in favor? And that carries with 7. Thank you. 9.4.2.
The council receives the report from Scott Curry, Manager of Strategic Initiatives, titled Centralia Community Park Advisory Committee, Revised Terms of Reference for Information, and the council adopt the revised terms of reference for the advisory committee, and the council appoint blank to sit on the advisory committee.
And Milt, thank you very much for volunteering. It's wonderful of you. And is there any further? We have to have a mover and a seconder, I believe. Moved by Deputy Mayor, seconded by Councillor Neeb. Any discussion? Call the question. All in favor? That carries. Thanks for your volunteering there. Nope, that's terrific. Okay. 9.4.3.
That South Huron Council receives a report of Alex Wolf, Deputy Clerk, request for service, complaints, and bylaw infractions, 2023, first quarter report and summary report for information purposes.
And a mover, please. Moved by Councillor Neeb, seconded by Councillor Denemy. Any discussion? Call the question. All in favor? And that carries with 7. Thank you. Next one, please.
The South Huron Council receives a report of Alex Wolf, Deputy Clerk, Bereavement Authority of Ontario, BAO, Annual Cemetery Reporting, 2022, and Cemetery Master Plan Update for information purposes.
And a mover, please. Moved by Councillor Oak, seconded by Councillor Dietrich. Any discussion? Councillor Oak?
Yeah, thanks. Just want to thank staff for putting this report together and updating the recommendations that were part of the cemetery master plan. I'm not sure if the new council members have had a chance to look at the master plan, but it would be a good read to just get up to speed on the steps that are being followed as far as expansion and just how it all outlines. So it would be good to go over. So thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Okay, not seeing any. We have a mover and a seconder. Call the question. All in favor? That carries a 7. Thank you. Ms. Masood Carlson.
The South Huron Council receives a report from Alex Wolf, Deputy Clerk, reappoint members to Court of Revision for the Kinsnight Municipal Drain 2023, and that South Huron Council hereby appoints the following 3 members to the Court of Revision for the for the municipal drain to be held on May 15th, 2023 at 5:30 p.m.
Thank you very much, Councillor Denemy. Yes, first volunteer. And Councillor Vaughn, thank you very much for doing that. Councillor Dietrich, did I see? Thank you very much, Councillor Dietrich, for putting your hand up. That's terrific. Okay, so we have a mover then. Mover, please, Deputy Mayor. Thank you. Seconded by Councillor Oak. Is there any discussion? Call the question. All in favor? Thank you. That carries with 7. 10. Notice the motions. Ms. Masood Carlson, are there any?
There are none.
Thank you. 11.1. Ms. Masood Carlson, we talk about the item number 1, please.
So the last meeting, there was delegations from the Exeter Legion Memorial Banner Program and from the Huron County Federation of Agriculture and Ontario Federation of Agriculture.
Okay, Councillor Neeb, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for the Exeter Legion and the banner program. I'm in favor of moving forward with it. I think it's important that we commemorate and honor our fallen soldiers, and I think putting them up on Main Street is just a fantastic idea. Would we usually get a report just in terms of how much, if we're going to need staff to hang it up and any other details around that? Would we be able to, should I move to ask for a report, or do we just need to ask for a report?
Ms. Priscilla Coulson, which?
Now, in this particular case, the staff already provide the services for the BIA, Exeter BIA. So from my understanding is that the Legion, John, has been working with Rob at the BIA. And it basically, the proposal is that staff would remove and put up the banners anyway. So that's already included in part as part of their operations. It's just a matter of the Legion and the BIA deciding on which locations. As well, I know that the Legion was asking to see whether or not the municipality would approve the logo on the banners.
Okay.
So as far as it goes right now, it's not operationally any much different than what we currently do. When we remove the banners to put up the ones for the Legion, and then when those get removed, the Christmas ones will go up.
So we could go directly to a resolution tonight then?
You could go to resolution tonight unless you want more specifics on the hours.
Councillor Neeb, did you want to?
No, I'll make the motion that we move forward with the banner program, and I don't see why there would be an issue with putting the logo up, but yeah, I'd be willing to make the motion to move forward.
Okay, seconded by Councillor Denemy. Okay, any further discussion? Councillor Vaughn, go ahead, please.
Yeah, just so for clarity to question the things you already did say there, Rebecca. So the timing of when the Legion's flags would go up would be coordinated with the BIA. It would be those two entities that would get together and decide to give South Huron direction to do a certain thing.
That's correct. I know that the Legion has a specific week that they would like them up for, a specific time date that they would like them put up, and the BIA has not provided any response that they don't agree. So as far as I know, they're working together to confirm the dates. Nothing has been set yet, though.
Any other questions from members of council? That's it's okay. We have a mover and a seconder. There's no further discussion. I'll call the question. All in favor? And that carries with 7. Thank you. Okay, very much, very well. And the next item, 11.1, sub number 2, we're does anyone want to talk about that at all? The Huron County Federation of Agriculture. No? Okay, thank you. Move on to number 12. Oh, sorry, Councillor Neeb, go ahead.
Just more of a comment. And I've never been through the official planning process, and I know that there's there usually is a component of reaching out for public comments. And I'm just wondering if maybe that when we get to that process next year, whether, you know, agencies in the municipality are also contacted when we go about the planning process, because I do think there's a lot of information in there relevant to our plan and planning ahead and saving agricultural land. That was another theme that that came out of that. So just was wondering if that's part of the process already.
Ms. Priscilla Coulson.
That is part of the process. Often there's focus groups, whether they're economic or agricultural focus groups, residential, as part of the official plan. Yes.
Perfect. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Nothing further on that. Okay, thank you. We'll move on to 12.1.
The South Huron Council set an orientation tour for May 8th, 2023 at 8:45 a.m.
And a mover, please. Moved by Councillor Neeb, seconded by Councillor Denemy. Any discussion? Councillor or Deputy, go ahead.
Just a question, are we going to get some kind of idea where the tour is going
Yes,
beforehand?
yes, we will be providing the itinerary. Yeah.
Any further discussion? Yeah, call the question. All in favor? And that carries a 7. Great, thank you. Mayor and Councillor comments and announcements. Are there any comments from any members of council at this time? Okay, not seeing any. Councillor Neeb, go ahead.
Yeah, just wanted to congratulate the South Huron U11A hockey team. Ended up with the silver medal at Ontario Provincials this weekend. So want to congratulate the players, the parents, and the coaches. It's a great achievement. So.
Great, thank you. Deputy, go ahead.
Yeah, I'd just like to welcome Laura to the PSB new member of the Police Services Board. And I'm looking forward to working with her and I think she'll be a great addition as a citizen. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, she definitely will be a great asset to the board for sure. Any other comments? No? Okay, so for myself, the Sabo Bayfield Conservation Authority Conservation Dinner is this Thursday. So I'll be attending that. I'm not sure if anyone else is attending. Jim's attending. And are you going? Are you? Oh, of course, Mark will be there. Yes. Councillor Vaughn, are you going? Good. Anyone else going? No. Okay. And then also Nonsense is being held at the United Church this weekend, Friday and Saturday. So I'm your lighting guy, and we were there last night for the rehearsal. And I got to tell you, you don't want to miss this show. It's really, really good, and that's all I can tell you at this point. But it's you'll be well entertained. So you'll see some familiar faces in the on the show, and perhaps Councillor Oak wants to elaborate more. But the fish fry, I believe, is a Sunday at Kirkton, is it not?
Yes, but unless you've got tickets, it's sold out, to the best of my knowledge, so. You might be able to contact an Optimus member, Kirkton Optimus member, and there might be some floating ones, but I know on social media, they've indicated it's sold out, so.
Yeah, and I got my tickets, so I'll be attending that. Anyways, if there's nothing else, we can move right along to communications, and we'll have Ms. Masuda call us and call them out. If you want something pulled, just say pull.
14.1, 14.2, 14.3, 14.4, 14.5, 14.6, 14.6.1, 14.6.2.
Okay, 14.5. Councillor Oak, go ahead, please.
Yeah, I just, thank you, Mayor. I just wondered if we could get staff comments or a report back on this item.
Ms. Masuda Carlson,
Okay, we can do that. Could I get a resolution?
moved by Councillor Oak, seconded by Deputy Mayor. Any further discussion? Call the question, all in favor? And that carries with 7. Thank you. Okay, we'll just wait till Ms. Masuda Carlson's ready with the final recommendation.
That South Huron Council direct a staff report on item 14.5. For clarification, Councillor Oak, within this quarter, or is there a specific council meeting?
I guess, through Mayor, as soon as possible, I guess,
Okay,
in normal fashion.
okay, June, okay. The South Huron Council direct a staff report on item 4.5 within the next few meetings.
Okay, so moved by Councillor Oak. Deputy Mayor concurs with that. There's no further discussion. All in favor? Thank you. That's great. Carries with all 7.
That South Huron Council receive communication items not otherwise dealt with.
And is there a mover for that, please? Moved by Councillor Denemy, seconded by Councillor Dietrich. Any discussion? Call the question, all in favor? And that carries with 7. Thank you. No closed session, therefore no report from closed session. Bylaws number 17.1. Ms. Masuda Carlson.
This one is for third and final reading. That South Huron Council gives third and final reading to bylaw 10/2023, being a bylaw to provide for the C drain of the FAP Municipal Drain 2023 in the municipality of South Huron.
And is there a mover for that? Moved by Councillor Oak, seconded by Councillor Dietrich. Any discussion? Call the question, all in favor? And that carries with 7. Thank you. Bylaw 17.2.
That South Huron Council gives first, second, and third and final reading to bylaw 18/2023, being a bylaw to amend bylaw 52/2022, appointment of municipal bylaw enforcement officers and property standards officers.
And a mover, please. Moved by Councillor Denemy, second by Councillor Dietrich. Any discussion? Councillor Dietrich, go ahead. On your microphone.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Like, who is this person or where'd he come from or whatever?
Ms. Masuda Collins, can you explain that?
Yeah, this is our bylaw enforcement contractors. They're tenant securities, yes, sorry. And they've been contracted by the municipality to provide bylaw enforcement services. And every once in a while, they have new staff. So this bylaw just comes up just to update, so we have the most up-to-date information for the officers.
So where do they come out of?
They come out of Lucan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Councillor Oak, go ahead, please.
Yeah, thank you. And there's a good question, just because they're new to the municipality as of last year. Are we satisfied with the service that we're getting from the company? I guess prior to the previous, you know, we had another. I guess I just, you know, as a contractor.
Ms. Masuda Collins, comments?
At this time, yes, we are. They're also retained by ABCA. So sometimes we do some coordinated enforcement. Blue Water, I believe, West Perth. They do have quite a few municipalities in the area. So they've worked out quite well so far.
Great. Any further questions at all? Okay, not seeing. We have a mover and a seconder. I'll call the question. All in favor? That carries a 7. Thank you. Next one, please. 17.3.
That South Huron Council gives first, second, and third and final reading to bylaw 19/2023, being a bylaw respecting construction, demolition, change of use, and inspection.
A mover, please. Moved by Councillor Neeb, seconded by Councillor Denemy. Any discussion? Call the question. All in favor? That carries a 7. Thank you. 18.1.
That South Huron Council gives first, second, third, and final reading to bylaw 20/2023, being a bylaw to confirm matters addressed at the April 11th, 2023 council workshop meeting and the April 17th, 2023 regular council meeting.
Mover, please. Moved by Councillor Neeb, seconded by Councillor Oak. Any discussion? Call the question. All in favor? That carries a 7. Thank you. 19.
The South Huron Council hereby adjourns at 6:37 PM to meet again on May 1st, 2023 at 6 PM or at the call of the chair.
Moved by Deputy Mayor, seconded by Councillor Neeb. Any discussion? Call the question. All in favor?